Relax and get loose while I put you up on game. The Figure Booth with Josh and Nate. This that podcast for those in the know. Batman vs. Iron Man, how would it go? We talking one of a kind, collectibles. Mezco toys are respectable. It's unacceptable if it's not in the packaging. Nate don't take pics if you ain't rapping it. Nate's dirty tricks are always happening. But damn it, man, don't you be stressing. Round here we believe in plastic confessions. We trying to figure out the figures that's gonna stand the test of time. That G.I. Joe handmade hit me in the spine. There's perfection in the way that these toys are made. But I also wanna know, do I pick Wade or Slade? So this is where I come to kick it with the guys. The Figure Booth. Like, comment, and subscribe.
What is up, everyone? Welcome back, Toy Family. You have made it to another episode of the Figure Booth. I am your host, Josh, aka Prime to the First.
Hey guys, this is Nate, aka Figure Fan _ Nate. You've reached episode 32, which we're calling The Haters.
Haters gonna hate.
I'm drinking on some Haterade today.
I'm sipping on a little bit of Haterade.
Yeah, sipping on a lot of Haterade. And people in the community are sipping on Haterade, it seems.
Yeah.
And this isn't a new thing. This is something that's been around for quite some time. And it's not like we're trying to call attention to the haters. We're just addressing that we know haters are out there. It affects all of us. And maybe, hopefully, we can provide some tips and things that we might do that might help you with dealing with the haters and maybe not taking it so personally.
Yeah, and I think that's the challenging part, right? Is trying not to let it mess up your flow, because some people just like to see the world burn, right?
Yep.
And others, it's like when you find your flow and you're like, man, you're providing gold content, you know. It's just like it seems like that's when you attract them.
Yep.
So a lot of times it's like if you are so good that it's hard for individuals to ignore you, you're gonna attract the positive individuals, but you're also gonna bring in those trolls, right? And it sucks because sometimes it's those are the individuals that get the most attention, because you could have 50 comments that say great job, great shot, great, positive, quads of fire, and then that one where it's like, oh, that's actually not the right scene, or and you got to do like that voice.
This isn't entirely accurate.
That pigeon is like 1/3. It's like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Pigeons don't flap like that in real life.
Yeah.
Just so you know.
And that, to me, I'm like, that's so. There's so much more to everything. It's on such a granular level that if you're going to nitpick something to that degree and take the time to just call it out, I'm like, man, just keep scrolling. Like, that's not even worth it.
Right.
When it's whether it's your post or a story. And it sucks because sometimes if I feel like just that one tiny little crumb gets too much attention, and it could stop the flow state of that one individual. Or it could give you a major roadblock, or plant. They're planting the seed of doubt, and you don't want to water that plant. Like that's not good.
Yeah, but it's something that we all go through. It's something that we all experience. I think if anybody's on any type of social media, you've dealt with haters before.
Yeah,
they are usually the most vocal people out there, which is unfortunate, because the positive people, they're not as vocal, maybe because they feel like they just want to show that support.
Right.
Or I'll just jump into a live and support this guy, or I'll like their photo and give a positive comment. Unfortunately, the ones that really stand out the most are the negative people, the ones that say something mean, or, they question your ability, or they say something negative about your post, and like you said, that could really kill your momentum.
Yeah.
If you take too much credit into what they're saying. And I do the same thing where I've posted photos before. Luckily, I don't encounter this very often, but it has happened, or either I'll get a DM, or somebody posts on my shot, they're like, yeah, this figure looks like trash.
Yeah
and it's like, okay, well, that's a great opinion.
Do
you have anything else to say about the photo, or are you just going to talk shit about this? Or Batman would never do that, or the turtles don't talk like that, or just something stupid. Like they're just saying stuff, and it's like you said, you're riding this train, you feel good about yourself, you're posting, you're getting some good feedback. Haters see that and they want to bring you down, and that's really, I think, the main goal of a lot of haters is to bring you down a peg or two. Or, I've said this before, I feel like haters do that because they kind of want that spot.
Right. Mm-hmm.
They want that spotlight, or they want to discredit you because they feel like they have something that might be better and they're not getting enough attention for it. So let me just go ahead and knock somebody down because I'm not getting the attention that I want, or I feel like I've got a better product than what this person's providing.
Yeah.
Whatever the case may be, unfortunately, haters are one of those things that you just can't avoid. They're always out there. They're always going to be out there.
Yeah.
And it's just.
Go ahead. No, say, go ahead.
I was going to say, it's just how you choose to acknowledge it,
Yeah.
Like you said, do you want to call attention to it and make it a highlight because that's probably what they want? Or do you just move on with your day and say, you know what, that's cool, man. That's your opinion.
Yeah. No, and that's kind of what I was leading to it. And really, like, when we were thinking about this episode, we didn't want to call attention to it. And we almost thought of calling like the episode like raid, like the bug spray, because we want to give you guys like this tool. If you come across this, just spray some raid on them. And just like, I don't even like, I was at a point where I was very reactive to it. And I think a lot of us fall into that pitfall where we become reactive and we spend so much time either trying to come up with some type of response or, I'm going to call them out or something. And you're already wasting so much energy. Right. And it took me a while to be like, you know what? I'm not even going to acknowledge it. It's my page. I'm delete. Like, it was never there. I'm like Thanos, just snapping my finger and you're out of here. Like, you're
boom,
fucking
out.
I don't have to block you because I'm not worried about like whatever. I'm just going to delete your comment. And I've had individuals where they comment the same thing a couple times or, and it's something like so petty where they're calling out a very minor detail that a lot of times I'm like, you don't have the full story. You don't know the details behind it. And sometimes it could be a custom request requested by, because I do a lot of specific orders for individuals. So sometimes a customer can tell me, hey, can you do this for me? Can you put this individual and this background and this and this and this is because that's what I have in my mind. Hey, you're paying for it. I'll try to do as and make it come as close as possible to whatever you want. Great. And then I show it to the client and I'm like, hey, this is what I was able to do. And they're like, yeah, that's exactly what okay, great. I'll post it. And they're like, oh, actually, that's the wrong character. And I'm like, dude, you don't even know who is this for?
Yeah.
One, you don't know the story behind this. Two, it's not for you. So shut the fuck up. Three, you're missing the bigger picture. You're focusing on one little small detail. The whole thing is a custom. This freaking arcade does not even exist. So the fact that you're taking time to call out one stupid thing, you're missing the whole freaking. And I'm like, you know what? I'm not even gonna respond to you. Bloop, just delete your comment. Like it was never there. And I move on because the majority, it is like, oh, great job, that's awesome. And even from the customer himself was like, oh, that's perfect. That's exactly what I wanted because those were, the character that my brother liked or my little bro, whatever the case is. And a lot of the times that's the beauty of it. From a customizer, I've seen it on other people's posts where they customize a certain picture. I remember one time I had put Forge, the character Forge head on a Wolverine body or something like that. And they're like, oh, like Forge never wore that costume. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? Who cares? And I remember I had made him like, oh, it's like I was making like a fake believe character. It was an inside joke between me and one of my other friends, and he did the same thing. We kept using Forge's head, and we're like, oh, it's the whatever. And this guy was like, oh yeah, you did it wrong. And I'm like, dude, you don't know what's going on. This person, it's an inside joke. So and I get a kick out of sometimes where they go to customizer's page and they're like, oh, that's not the right color. So that's not, I'm like, he's a customizer. I've gotten some custom jobs where I'm like, hey, can you make it look this way? Because that's the way I want it. And I'm paying you for it. And they deliver on that. So it always grinds my gears where I'm like, it's a customizer. Like they don't have to be comic accurate because maybe that wasn't the request, Right. I always get a kick out of it where I'm like, that's so petty. Like who are these policing individuals?
Yeah. And they don't have that additional context that you're talking about. Like you get custom requests and you post it and you're like, hey,
all the time.
And a lot of the times what I see is you're like order going out to this person.
Yep.
And that person, you know, they're in the comments like, this looks fire. I can't wait to get it.
Yeah.
Then you get that asshole that's like, well, that's not entirely accurate.
Yeah.
Like, it was designed that way.
Yeah.
I was
on
asked
purpose
to create it a specific way on purpose. So yes, you are right. That's not accurate, but that's by design.
Yeah.
You know, it's like it's almost like these people just don't take a second to think about it. It's like, rather than DMing you and like, hey, you know, I noticed this is different. Is that on purpose, or do you know that? You know, they're not really trying to educate you.
Yeah.
Because if they really cared about you posting something that's accurate, they would DM you and not blast your post about it.
Yeah.
But they want to shine the light on themselves because they feel like, oh man, I've got something that I've discovered that's wrong, and I want to be spotlighted for that. Yeah. So let me go ahead and call this guy out and look like a hero in the community. But you don't look like a hero; you look like an asshole. Yeah. You know, don't do that to people. And I see it in the toy community all the time. I've seen Jason B. Michael talk about this in his photos, where now he specifically does it just to see if he gets a comment, but he uses porgs, which are from Star Wars, in all of his shots, or not all of them, but a lot of them. Yeah. He'll put him in a Popeye shot. He'll put him in a Link, you know, a Zelda shot. Yeah. And every time there's always somebody that's like, porgs don't belong in this universe. Yeah. But
like, there's a rule book.
Yeah, like there's some kind of rule book I'm supposed to be following, or, you know, like, oh, I'm doing toy photography, so I've got to be 100% accurate in these properties, in these franchises. There's nothing that says that. I have the freedom to create whatever the hell it is that I want to create. If I want to put Batman and Iron Man hanging out together, somebody's going to say like, well, these aren't part of the same comic universe. No shit, man. That's why I'm doing it. That's why it's fun. So it's just
refer them to Todd McFarlane. He doesn't know anything about scales. Like, who fucking Robin as tall as Batman? Come on.
And Tommy doesn't give a shit.
He doesn't give a shit. He's gonna deliver you a monster truck in a couple months. He's like, Batman monster truck.
He'll cancel your Target pre-order. He does not care.
Take a page out of that successful man. I mean, everyone talks shit about him. We still buy his stuff. I talk shit. I'm a huge. You would think I really dislike Todd McFarlane, but I'm a huge Todd McFarlane. Like, I grew up with Spawn. When his art, like, dude, the dude's an amazing artist, right? I'm not, but it's like, he doesn't give a shit about scale and or articulation. He doesn't like articulation out the window. You want nasty ankle joints and wrist joints? Boom. He doesn't. So when I see that, I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna be the Todd father. I'm gonna take a page out of his book and just fucking give him whatever I want. Like, who cares?
And that's a good point, though. I mean, just remember that successful people don't need to put others down. You don't see Toddy Mac going to somebody else's post like Hasbro, like, oh, this looks like shit. You know, your ankles look crappy. You know, make them the way that I do. You don't see him doing that because either way, he's making money. Yeah, he's successful. Yeah, you know, and that's the thing. You got to recognize, out of how many people that follow you, what's the percentage of people that are being negative? You know, it's probably like very low numbers. Yeah. But those are the ones that stick out the most. It's hard for me. It's hard for you. It's hard for anybody else not to acknowledge those comments, you know, and take it personally, and then think about it like, man, did I make a mistake? Yeah. You know, did I do something wrong here? Or should I really not put much credit into this? I go through inner turmoil all the time. You know, people say that maybe the pose looks off, or the colors look weird, or, you know, it doesn't necessarily match the source material. Sometimes I'll take that to heart too much.
They're like, hey, another fucking Batman shot? Come on.
Yeah, right. Oh, great. You like the Batman. Cool. Okay. You're going to make another movie poster? Awesome,
show some dick pics. Come on.
Yeah, why don't you do something more original, man? Don't recreate posters, which was what I've been doing the last couple of posts.
Yeah. And in my case, it's like, oh, do you charge too much? Like, you're too expensive. You know, and
see, we talked about that before too.
And there's because the community is so diverse, right? You have great photographers that create great content, and they get criticized for their pictures. We all start somewhere. Those that know how to run, eventually they were walking at one point. So, you know, it's like, you got to take your first step before you can run, and eventually you'll fly. But even for those dial makers, they're first starting out. You're gonna get told, hey, your stuff is too overpriced. That's okay. It's not for you then. If you know, as a dial maker or a customizer, because I see that where a lot of great customizers, they'll either create a post, hey, I'm taking a break, or I'm gonna, you know, step away. It's good. Stepping away is a really good habit to do, to kind of just reflect on, like we've talked about a couple times, what's your goal? And I would really encourage those that are wanting to get into dial making or customizing, make whatever it is. Like you want to paint head sculpts, you want to do head sculpts, do it. Like there's nothing stopping you. You're the only one stopping you. Go ahead and do it. And if they tell you, hey, that's way too much, your prices are crazy, okay, just it's obviously it's not for them, because there's going to be somebody, this freaking world is so huge, there's going to be somebody that's going to find your work and be like, yes, I'll pay what you want me to pay, and then they're going to help you out, and then eventually you're going to look back and you're like, yeah, I can't believe I was only charging, X amount of dollars, now I'm charging much more. And it's that progress. And I think that doubt that you start to think about, is my work really worth it? Like if you start falling into that because of these haters or those trolls, where you start questioning your ability, like that's maybe a sign to step back and not listen to them, and then come back refocused. And sometimes it is good to take a step back. I've seen some individuals where they take a step back and they come back and their work has improved, because sometimes that's what we need to do. We need to sharpen the saw, right? And go back and say, hey, okay, maybe my work isn't the best, but if I'm not charging what I feel like, because time is money for everyone, do not sell yourself short, and really encourage you to take that risk. Because at the end of the day, if you do nothing, that's probably the worst thing that you can do. And then later you'll regret it, right? But yeah, when I first started making dials, which I try not to do dials anymore, there's so many talented artists and it takes a lot of time. I just don't have the patience for it. But when I first started making dials, my first dial, I've said this a couple times, it looks like a 4-year-old made it. But then I got to a point where I was getting dial commissions like back to back. I was getting booked up for a whole year, and my prices started increasing only because it was that much complexity to the dial, and I knew that my time was super valuable to me. So if they really want this dial and I really want to make it, this is the price. And it was rare when somebody would tell me, "Oh no, I'm not going to pay that." Yeah. If anything, there was always some type of negotiation where it was payments or trade or something. And after a while, I just came to the conclusion, I'm like, it's so much. I don't like doing dials. And that was me. Like, I just don't like doing them.
It's a lot of stress.
It was just like, nope, don't like doing them. They take too long. Shipping's a pain. To those dial makers, hats off, because I would always stress, like, I would want to make sure it arrives there safely. And USPS, I've had maybe less than a handful of my arcades, less than 5 of my arcades arrived broken, and they're in pretty sturdy boxes and a lot of padding, and they still get broken. I had one that got shipped all over the place. It even made it to like outside the country, and it came back, and it was only going to the East Coast, and then it arrived wet. And I'm like, what the heck did this?
It fell off a ship.
Yeah, I'm like, this thing fell off a ship.
It got international
rescued. Too. It got rescued, and then and the customer sent me pictures. Like, dude, the whole box is wet. The arcade's fine, but it's fucking drenched. Wow. And I'm like, dude, like, just keep it. I'm gonna send you another one. Like, we worked it out. But
that's really cool.
Again, the communication and knowing that you build good quality, but that was the stress for me, is like that dial making. I was like, man, if it was to arrive broken, and with that large pieces, and we've seen those crazy horror stories where if the big companies with Mezco and the mouse crash, FedEx is just kicking the boxes, people are getting their mouse crash smashed. I saw somebody post a video where the FedEx just like chucked the board. You can imagine, for a dial maker, we're not a big company. It's usually one guy out of his room, out of a room in their house or whatever, So those shipping companies, they don't care that it's a dial. You can write fragile all over, and they're like, oh, I'm going to kick it more because it has fragile on it.
Yeah, and you bring up a good point, because I've seen people that say, like, they'll get a package from maybe a dial maker or a custom maker, and it is damaged. Yeah. And they put that back on that customizer.
Yeah.
Like, oh, yeah, I got a dial from him, and it came, the box was totally screwed up.
Yeah.
Like, hey, I don't have control over what USPS or what UPS or FedEx, whatever the hell, does to your package.
Yeah.
But like you said, you have an issue, you'll take ownership and I'll send you another one.
Yeah.
I feel bad that happened. I'll send you another one. Not everybody's going to do that, but you got to just take a second and think about it, people. Like, once it leaves my house, I have no control over what happens to that thing. I'm packing it safely. I'm, paying the proper shipping. After it goes out of your hands, now it's up to USPS to get it to you safely, and you have no control over what.
I almost want to stick like $1 bill on the package, because man, I kid you not.
Please get this there safely.
So, a funny story. One time, I did a trade with this guy. Right, we traded stuff, and then he ended up like selling something to somebody else, but he used the same box I gave him because the package ended up on my doorstep. And this package, it looked like Ace Ventura had punted it off the USPS truck.
I was just going to say, I think about Ace Ventura when I think about FedEx.
Dude, there was a huge hole in the box. Huge hole. And I was like, holy moly, whoever delivered this, they literally kicked it off the USPS truck and it landed in front of my doorstep. And I was like, wait. And I recognized the box. And I was like, wait, that's the thing that I shipped out to this guy. So I sent him a DM. I'm like, hey, dude, I got this box, but the stuff is broke. Like the box is broken. And he had packaged it fairly well. This box was a sturdy box. And then, he asked me to check the contents inside. He's like, hey, it should be these 3 things. I'm like, yep, they're still in here. He's like, that's crazy. He had sold something to another person that I knew. So then it became like this 3-way DM between me, this guy, and this other individual. And I think the package was like lost in transit for like, I don't know, 3-4 weeks, where the person was getting concerned, the whole, you think you're getting scammed. And I'm like, nope, I got the package here, but look, and I sent them both a picture of the box. I kid you not, this was like the worst extreme I've seen, where the box literally had a footprint on the box, and it was like right through the box. You can see inside. I'm like, I'm surprised the stuff didn't fall out. I don't know if he kicked it off the box or somehow, but the box was completely ripped open, and it was taped pretty good. So long story short, I just repackaged it, put it in a brand new box, and then, the guy paid for me to ship it on it and pass the buck. But yeah, that's crazy that sometimes that individual, the seller, gets that bad rap where it's like it's completely out of the control. Like if I could, sure, I had my own shipping company and my own employees that I could, but I don't.
Right.
That's
not realistic.
The thing is, we all see these stories, whether it's Amazon drivers or delivery people, USPS, FedEx, USPS. Like, at my different residence, my USPS guy would shove stuff in my little locker, and he'd fold the box and shove it, and I'm like, hey guy, what if I was a mock collector? You just ruined my Hasbro.
He totally screwed me up.
And to him, it didn't matter whether it was a plastic bag or a box. He would just crush the box and then stick it in the locker. I'm like, this guy hates his job. So there's people out there that, they hate it.
That's the sad thing too, is that reputation is key for a lot of people. And unfortunately, I think a lot of haters know that. And what's the best way to ruin someone's business? By trying to give them a bad reputation. A lot of it, unfortunately, is unfounded. I've found is that it's either something that was out of the control of that customizer or that toy seller. Or some kind of one-off situation. Like I've sold things on eBay and I get negative feedback because the package arrives damaged. And I'll take pictures of it before it leaves my house and I'll submit that to eBay. But like, look, this is how it looked when it left my house. I have no control of how it got there. But those people are trying to bring down my feedback score on eBay and screw me up because, if Yelp is any indication, people look at feedback, they look at other people's reviews, and they will conduct business based off of that. And the haters are the ones that are the most vocal because they're trying to screw up your day. They're trying to ruin your business or something like that. And there are comments that are probably valid. There's people that have been screwed over. I've seen it in the community. I'm not saying all that's not valid, but just take it with a grain of salt. Look at who's talking about it. Look at that person's reputation. Are they known for screwing people over, or is this probably a situation where this guy is just trying to be a hater and ruining this guy's day? So it's like, I sometimes look at criticism as a way to fuel motivation. It's like, okay, I'm going to use that as my fuel, not as my kryptonite. I'm not going to let this ruin my day. I'm going to actually let it motivate me to do something else. If you think my toy photos are shitty, let me show you what I can do.
Now I'm going to post a bunch of shitty pictures.
Now I'm going to post all kinds of shit that's probably going to really ruin.
Now they're all going to be pigeons and porgs.
Exactly. Pigeons, porgs. Different properties mixing. Cats and dogs, getting
boxes
together.
Smashed, whatever you fucking want.
Boxes smashed. I mean, it's just the whole world's going to go to shit. You just wait. So, and like I said before, remember that successful people don't put others down. It's usually the people that aren't successful that want that type of success, that look at your page as something that they would want for themselves. And rather than trying to do that themselves, they're just going to try to bring you down to try to whatever kind of crazy idea it might be to better themselves. Because me making this person feel like shit makes me feel better for a couple of minutes, but then I feel like shit again. You know, it's a
Yeah.
temporary relief type of thing.
And a lot of times, like that one, you know, if they're giving you shit because you're putting a boombox on a stormtrooper, making them a break dancer, it's like, yeah, but at the same time, like, how freaking cool is that? And then it takes off, and it becomes a trend. I mean, you know, and I'm going back to Toddy Mac, like, he slaps Batman on everything. Like, you want Green Lantern Batman, you want Flash Batman, you want Happy Meal Batman, like, it's like a Mad Lib, and he just writes Batman. I'm like, no, Toddy, give me another word. He's Batman. He's stuck on it's Batman. You know, it's like that scene from Family Guy when Stewie's playing Pictionary and the guy's like, Jackal, is it a jackal? A jackal. That's Toddy Mac. He's like, Batman. Is it Batman? No, it wasn't Batman the first 5 times.
You mean it's not going to be Batman? Snake Eyes and Timber.
Stanley? Is it Stanley R? Like that's, you know, be that guy from that Family Guy episode where he's just screaming out Jackal. Just keep doing the Jackal. Like, who cares?
Yeah, keep doing you, man. Take it as a compliment. Really. Mm-hmm. You know, if you're popular enough to get haters, you're doing something right.
Right. Yeah.
Because
that's true.
if you don't have enough success, you probably won't get any haters because they're not going to care. But if they see somebody that's successful, like yourself, that's been in the community for a long time, that's really grown the reputation, and I don't even know how many freaking arcades you ship, but it's enough to call yourself successful. There's going to be somebody that's going to come in there and try to ruin your day because they are jealous of that success. So just remember, you know, like, take it as a compliment. You're doing something right. You're not doing something wrong. You're doing something right enough to that person wants to kind of ruin your day. I just, you know, I see it happen all the time, and it happens to me too. I see people in the community like, you know, this community is shit. I'm tired of all the negativity. I'm stepping away, and that's okay. Like you talked about, don't be afraid to step away from IG and take a break. We all need breaks. I've done them in the past. Because
it's a good cleanser, you know.
Yeah, you get filled with the negativity and the crap, and it's hard not to take that personally. And you've got your own stuff that you're going on in your life, and sometimes it's just bad timing. You're like, fuck this guy, I'm out. Yeah, like I'm checking out for a week because I'm done.
Because you know, not stepping away. It's always with social media. It's a cycle, and sometimes it feels like a race where you're constantly sprinting, whether it's sprinting to provide new content or sprinting to keep the engagement level high. And, you know, I took a break. I was off of social media for 4 days, and I was like, cool, focusing on myself, you know, sharpening the saw, trying to organize the shop, trying to, you know, just stay mentally fit. Right. And then come back at it where I'm like, okay, this is what I'm going to post. I'm going to share some behind the scenes. I'm going to show the progress and keep moving forward and really send that message of like, it's good to reflect and just put pause on everything and then look back and be like, hey, what type of content do I want to continue posting? What type of engagement do I want to continue having? What's the conversations we want to engage ourselves in? And at the end of the day, like, does it matter? Does it not matter? That's irrelevant. But I think the relationships that a lot of us have established, they're unique to a certain kind, right? To a certain extent, they're unique. But then when you start posting again, it's like now you're back in it and you feel much better. It's like you got your second wind. You're good. I think taking a step away every once in a while is really good for the soul.
I totally agree, man. Yeah. It's like just taking that opportunity to check in with yourself. You're like, you know, I need to step away, and maybe I need to, you know, maybe I can learn something. Maybe there's something I can learn here that I didn't think about before.
Yeah.
You know, maybe there's an idea that I didn't have that I need to start implementing. You know, not because of what this hater said, but it just makes me think about things maybe a little bit differently.
Yeah.
You know,
I ended up watching a bunch of Owen Wilson and Vince Vaughn movies, and hey, that was it. They gave you a lot of advice.
Wedding Crashers. I mean, there's
I watched The Internship last night. I was cracking it. I was like, I just gotta enjoy the view, like Owen Wilson says. Enjoy the view, man.
Yes, and that's the thing, man. Stick to your convictions. You know, like, don't let that kind of stuff change your mentality, because you created your page for who you are. I created my page for who you are. There's other people that do it, whether you're a toy hunter or whether you're an action figure photographer or a customizer. You started your page for a specific reason, so stick to those convictions, because if your following is any indication, there's a lot of people that resonate with what you're doing,
right?
And you're always going to get the haters that are come out there and
Yeah.
You know, if you're an action figure toy hunter, they might say like, how dare you not grab me a figure? You know, it's like, that's not my job.
Yeah.
I'm trying to educate you so you can go out there and grab a figure yourself. Don't get mad at me because I saw a figure that was in stock and I didn't grab it for somebody.
Yeah.
That shouldn't be an expectation.
I usually will see stuff and I used to, I don't do it as much, but I'll post pictures and stuff. But then I'm out of the store. By the time I post it, I'm already long gone. Because then people will be like, hey, can you get that for me? Nope, not there. Because then you have to pay for shipping. I'm not going to give it to you for retail. Yep. And I got to go look for it. Like, nope, that's too much of a hassle. Like,
right.
It's there. Good luck.
I used to get people that would DM me when I would go to SDCC. And they'd get real pissed that I wouldn't be willing to grab something for them. I'm like, do you have any idea how SDCC really is? You know, because if you're getting mad at me about this, you clearly don't. Yeah. It is hard enough for me to get my own stuff, let alone
I hate
get an
asking
extra for you.
For people to grab me stuff. There's a couple people out there that offer it, and I'm like, no, but if you can and you're willing to, here, this is my wish list. But if you can't, no big deal. And man, like folks turning it around, focusing on the positivity. There's a lot of good people out there that, you know, did reach out and in the past have grabbed me a couple of exclusive figures, which I totally appreciated. And it's funny because one time, really good friend, Bone Claws Custom, he picked me up a Storm Collectible exclusive, and then he was like, hey, you know, is there anything else, something for your kids? And I was like, hey, my son's a big fan of lanyards. And he just got me an NYCC lanyard. My son was like super stoked. He was like, oh, it came from New York. So to me, that was like the biggest gesture. The toy, yeah, okay. And what sucked, and I didn't even tell him, I didn't take it out on him, but I took it out of the box. The ankle was broken. And I was like, that's not his fault. It was still in the shipper, like everything, you know. I'm like, fuck, that fucking sucks. It came broken. It literally, the ankle was broken right out of the box. I'm like, but you know what? This guy did me a solid. Threw in a bunch of extras for my son. Like my son was over the moon. I'm like, really cool. I don't need it. I'm like, hey, dude, thanks, I appreciate it. Send him send him his funds right away. All that stuff. Didn't even bug him about tracking. I was like, I don't care. That type of stuff. It's like you want to go out of your way when someone does you a favor and show that appreciation. So man, and still to this day, like my son has that NYCC lanyard in his room. And he's like, oh, now he's pumped because he wants to go to New York. You know,
that's cool.
Yeah,
that's really awesome. Yeah, and that's the thing. You do find, you know, like you said, breaking away from that negativity talk. There's a lot of people that are awesome in the community, and I try to do the same thing. Even though I just complained about people asking me to get things at SCCC, if I have prior relationships with people and I'm a good friend with you, I will probably reach out to you in advance and just say, hey, I'm going. If I can get something for you, what would be something that you're after?
And you're like, cool. Now I know to avoid that booth. No.
Storm Collectible. Yeah, I'm not planning on going there.
No.
And that's the thing. I'll be honest. I feel like, hey, the likelihood of me getting that is probably small, but I'll try. You know,
and give me the Hot Wheels. No.
There's just, I mean, it's a struggle. SDCC or NYCC can be really tough to get stuff because it sells out so quick. But you know, going back to what we talked about, hopefully that stuff helped you guys.
Yeah.
You know, don't feel like you're alone. We all go through it. Yeah. Listen to the criticism. Just don't give up, though.
Yeah.
You know, take a break if you need it, but don't give up. And if you do take a break, don't be afraid to step away. Like Prime said, he stepped away for 4 days. He came back and got a great reception from all of his friends, all of his followers. There are more people out there that are supportive of what you're doing, whoever it is that you are, than there are of negative people. And everybody understands that we need to take away a break from social media because it can get very toxic. But that community is always there when you return.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how long long you decide to step away. Because even if it's a longer time, you'll probably get even a warmer reception. Like, damn, Prime, you've been away for 2 weeks. Like, I've been dying to see your content. I am so happy to see you back.
Yeah.
You know, and recognize people like that. They're going through a hard time. If it's a good friend, maybe send them a quick DM because you don't know what somebody's going through. We talked about this with X Manny. We've talked about this a few times. Mental health is so freaking important.
Yeah.
And people are going through shit right now. There's a lot of people going through a lot of personal struggles. Just remember that before you go and start saying something negative on somebody's post.
True.
That person might be going through something that's really hard and you just set them over the edge.
Right. Yeah.
Was it really necessary to do that to ruin somebody's day? Probably not.
Right.
You know, just remember that we're all people these might be Instagram accounts where we got a big following, but at the end of the day, you're a person behind that account.
Yeah, and the reason you're following or you're seeing the content is because we're all in the same collective. We're all chasing that same plastic. And that's the common ground that we all have that's bonding us, is the love for action figures.
Right.
Whatever line you collect, whether it's Hot Wheels, whether it's 118, whether like I can appreciate, and that's the greatest thing. Everything ever since we've started this, and we've had some great conversations and interactions with a lot of our audience, I can appreciate everything so much more. I may not be a fan of every single thing or even need to collect it, but everything from Micro Machines, Hot Wheels, 118, 1/6 scale, 1/12, like you name it, if it's in some type of action figure or some type of a collector item, even to like pop vinyl or something, I'm like, oh, you know what? That's cool. Like I can recognize that. And at the end of the day, like that could be a really good friendship that could be starting.
Right.
And man, yeah, there's just so much cool stuff. It's much more easier to enjoy the good content that everyone's putting out there rather than nitpicking it or tearing them down, because that's not doing anything. Like you want to contribute positivity to this community, and let's keep that growing.
That's a great point, man. It's easier to be positive. Yeah. It's harder to be negative.
Yeah.
You have to really put in an extra effort to be a negative, a-hole. So just do the right thing. Be positive, support each other. That's what we're all trying to go for. Yeah. So hopefully those tips helped you guys. Feel free to DM us if you're going through your own thing. You need to talk about it. I'm always available. I know me and Prime try to be available for the people that support us. So yeah, don't be afraid to reach out to people and talk, because we all need somebody to talk to. Sometimes you just need to vent. And me and Prime vent to each other all the time. Yeah, we don't do it on the podcast, but we'll have DMs or we'll talk before a show and just get shit off our shoulders or off our chest.
Like we need a hotline, like a party hotline. Just get everybody in there.
There you go. The Figure Booth hotline.
Yeah, literally the Figure Booth
Call
hotline.
Us with your problems.
Oh, that's a good idea for our next live. Figure Booth hotline. You are on the radio. Let's go. Who do we got?
Dude, we should do that at some point.
We got Gonzo from his tent. What's up, Gonzo? He's doing tests?
Yeah, we got seeing what the Chat Migas Assemble is doing. It makes me like, hey, maybe we should just have some listeners on and just hear who they are and what they got to say and all that stuff.
Oh, we got a call coming in. It's someone who got declined from 796 Dance Studios. What? Their dance lessons were shit? Oh, sorry. Oh, we got the other line. We got Mario. He's it's like, just call in with your requests.
Oh, you're interested in Cha-Cha? Let me connect you with 796.
Please hold. Oh, now we're an operator booth. Please hold.
Yeah, right.
We went from a hotline to give advice to now operators.
Hey, we can be whatever we want. That's the great thing. Awesome. Great discussion, though. I like that we talked about that. I think it's something that, people are going to see the title. They're like, haters. Gosh, I hope they're not calling attention to haters. We're not trying to do that.
Nope.
We're just trying to say that it's out there. It's a thing that we all deal with. Hopefully those tips helped. Use some Raid.
Yeah.
Get rid of the haters.
Yep. Spray them.
Yeah. Don't let them ruin your day. So pre-orders.
Yeah.
Even though it's been a week, there's actually been quite a lot of pre-orders that have been going up. So one of them is the Mezco Monsters 5 Points Tower of Fear Deluxe box set, which is a 5 points release. I already said that because it's in the title. What do you think about this set? Like, do you like it or?
I like it. It's not for me, but I have their other 5 points figures from their swag bundle boxes and stuff like that. They're cool. I think it would make a fun set, especially for those that have like Halloween setups and stuff like that. Yeah.
No, I agree.
Hopefully that leads into like a 112 line,
Yeah, I was just going to say that, man. I'd love to see all of these characters in the same style, too, in 112, because it's cool, because it's like the Universal Monsters, but it's Mezco's own style of Universal Monsters.
Yeah.
Dracula, I think he's probably the one that looks the weirdest to me. He doesn't look like my classic Dracula. But I actually really like this set. Like, I've been debating all day, like, should I pre-order this or not? Because I really like the way that it looks. I like the detail on the figures. They all look like they've got a lot of great paint apps.
You probably should just at the end of the day, hey, because how much is it? How much is the set?
It's $95.
Yeah, I would.
Yeah, and you get 5 figures, you get an 18-inch tall display, and they come with some really cool different accessories. I don't know if you went through all the pictures, but you got a lot of different setups. Like the Frankenstein. I don't know what the hell that thing's called. It's the thing that brings him back to life.
Oh,
You
yeah.
got different towers, you got stairs in there, you got the mummy's tomb, you got a coffin for Dracula, and then all the figures come with little accessories too. So I've been wanting to do more 1/18 stuff, and man, seeing stuff like this just really motivates me to maybe dive a little bit deeper into it. But I'm also like, it's another thing to collect, so I don't know if I should do that. But
yeah, and I think you'll have fun with these ones because they're tiny. You could take them with you.
Right.
It'd be a fun set to take, especially. I mean, you go to some really unique places sometimes where it's outdoorsy. That Frankenstein looks really cool. That werewolf comes with the skull and bones, and they're already semi-posed. Where 5 points, I think you don't have to have super articulation. It's just really setting up the scene. There's a lot of really great photographers out there that do like retro with like some retro figures. Whether they're 5 points or even smaller, like those little Lego, and you see some great pics with those little Lego figures. There's no articulation there. It's just all about like everything else. The figure can sell it because they have an expression, or oh man, the Dracula comes with like that. I don't know, he turns into a giant bat or something. Yeah, I think if I was you and you're debating on it, I would just get it because it looks super cool. And I think you're gonna have fun with the figures.
Well, I did do the BBTS pre-order, which is always pretty safe. They don't have an NRD.
Okay.
If you guys are interested and you think you might grab it, it's probably safe to get it from BBTS. And you actually bring up a good point. Like, I didn't even think about taking those on trips, but how easy would that be to take a 5 points figure on a trip?
You can take the whole set,
Yeah, I could take the whole set, and it would be about the same size as one full-size figure. That would be great. Yeah, I think you might have just sold me a little bit more.
I just got points.
I think you might have enabled me.
Yes.
Give him 95 points because I'm pretty sure I'm going to get him now after talking with Prime.
Yeah.
But yeah, those are cool. I really like the 5 point stuff. I'm not going to get all of it, but there's definitely things that I'm like, man, that is just too cool. I don't know if I'm going to be able to pass that up because when are you going to see figures like that again?
Yeah,
when are you going to see a set like that again? Never.
No, I think that's going to be a solid win, and then later down the road, you're going to be happy you got them. And once you decide to sell them, you'll probably at least get your $95 back.
Yeah, for sure. So another big release coming from NECA this week, and it's kind of like the same sort of thought process because it's a Universal Monsters property, but the Universal Monsters TMNT Ultimate Raphael as Frankenstein. Damn, that blew my mind. I actually have to give credit to, I think it was AZ Toy Hunters Guild. I say his name all the time, Mike. He had sent me something a few weeks ago, and it was like a Target DCPI list. And there's all these different turtles that were listed on there. I think it was
that's right.
Mikey as the mummy, and I can't remember what Leo is. I think he's Wolfman. You got Raphael as Frankenstein, and sure enough, NECA released photos of it, and then DGDX, who you've done work with before, he released a really killer live action video just showing it off and kind of just talking about the figure. And man, I am so hyped for these. I am definitely getting it. It looks awesome.
And it's crazy because I had to read NECA's description on it because at first looking at it, his bandana is so dark, it almost looks purple. And I thought, it's Donatello. And I can't remember what the original Playmates were, because there was one of them was a mummy, Frankenstein, a werewolf, and Dracula or something. I don't know, whatever they were.
Yeah, one of them was Dracula. Yeah.
Yeah. So
I think that was Donnie that was Dracula.
Okay. And when I saw the Frankenstein, I'm like, damn, that must be darn. But then when you read NECA's description, no, it says Raphael as Frankenstein monster. Killer. Where I was so stoked because I remember those Playmates. I think I had all 4 of them. And I'm like, man, as good as that Frankenstein is from NECA, now they're meshing the 2. Like that's, man, I'm definitely all over that. I got the notification from BBTS to pre-order it. I was like, yep, throw that in my cart. Let's go. Yeah.
That's definitely a no-brainer.
Yeah.
I had to grab it.
I love his size, how they look like lightning bolts.
Yeah, the lightning bolt size. I love all the little details. He's got like a pressure gauge on the back of his shell. He's got like a sewer lid on the back of his shell. It just looks like
all messed up.
Yeah, he's been pieced together like Frankenstein.
Yeah.
And the head sculpt looks great. I'm so on board. It looks so good.
It just gets me pumped to see how they're going to do the rest, because they're going to do the rest. Oh,
I can't say no to the whole. I'm gonna have to get the whole set for sure.
That's gonna be so cool.
I just hope it doesn't take forever to see them. I hope we actually get another release here pretty soon.
Yeah, that's true.
Who knows how long it's going to take, but the fact that they're coming, I'm a happy camper. I'm definitely jumping on board. Let me see another pre-order if you're into them, which I don't think me and Prime really collect these a whole lot, but there is a new Spawn Wave coming. Spawn Wave 2, which has the Dark Redeemer. It's got the Soul Crusher action figure. It's got a She-Spawn. It's got the Gunslinger Spawn, which has a minigun. I know some people really like these Spawn figures. Not really up my alley, but they look kind of cool. I don't. What do you think? Have you been collecting any of those?
No, I haven't. Yeah, no. I mean, a lot of times, like I just saw one of the other versions, Gunslinger or whatever from Toddy Mac at the store, but
yeah.
It's usually I'm interested in them once they're like on clearance or on sale. Just
Right. Yeah, you're not a big enough fan where you buy them at full price, but if they go on sale, because I'm starting to see them too. I saw them in Target. I saw the Dark Redeemer. No, I saw a Redeemer, and then I saw I don't know, the guy that looks like I'm butchering the name. He's got like a cloak on. He looks kind of like.
Don't they all have cloaks?
Yeah, something like that. Who knows? Don't ask me about Spawn. I don't know Spawn very well.
So, like, Redeemer's the one with the wings, right? Redeemer's the one.
Yeah,
with the
you're
wings.
right. Okay.
Right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. No, you're right.
The cloak guy. Yeah, I saw that's what I saw. The cloak guy. We'll call him fucking cloak guy. Cloak guy, and then the gunslinger guy is the guy with the fucking top hat.
I saw those Raven. Two. It's Raven.
Oh, Raven. Yes, that's it. Raven. Before we get all the fucking haters up in here.
I know.
Yeah, Raven and Gunslinger, right?
Mm-hmm.
But Redeemer's one I am, because I had the original figure from. Yeah. I mean, I was a huge Toddy Mac fan back in the day. Like I have the 10th anniversary Spawn that's super articulated. Love it. Love that figure. I got the Kickstarter Spawn. Love it. Whatever.
That's right. You did get that.
Yeah, the Redeemer is the one with the crazy angel wings, right?
Mm-hmm.
I have. That's the only one I haven't seen in the stores. Which, if I do see them, I might be on the fence to pick them up because I've seen some really good reviews. I saw Unparalleled Universe review on him, and I've seen some pictures here all over the place where I'm like, yeah, that looks. And obviously, the paint and sculpt, he does a really good job on that. Like, there's no denying that Toddy Mac does a killer job on paint and sculpt. It's the articulation where he kills me.
Right.
It just doesn't make sense. I can barely stand that Dr. Fate because his ankles go in a weird direction. They don't pivot. They like rotate, and it's just so weird. I can't stand. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I've definitely noticed that you have to kind of. I usually have to put their legs back a little bit farther so they kind of sit like this. Which doesn't look
their chest is out.
Yeah, it doesn't look supernatural.
Like penguin. Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely think there's some improvement that could be made with McFarlane, but those are for someone like you that maybe not be super into the McFarlane Spawns. You got that 25% off deal at Target right now off one toy. So if you find one, you can get it off 25% off, which is not a bad deal.
Yeah, it shows we're not huge fans. That's after we butchered their fucking names like crazy. Like cloak guy and fancy top hat guy.
Yeah, fancy top hat guy and wing guy. Yeah, so that's cool. You had mentioned one earlier though. That's a third-party figure. Which one was that?
Yeah, so we got 5K Toys with an exclusive preview of the Felix 112 Clown, and it's the Dark Knight Rises. Yeah, Dark Knight, right?
I think it's just Dark Knight.
Oh, Dark Knight. Oh, Rises is the one with Bane. So Dark Knight. Spreading rumors and starting beefs. It's the Heath Ledger Joker. That thing is fucking great. Like, I can't wait till that pre-order goes up.
It looks amazing. Yeah,
and they have a picture of him standing next to Two-Face on their page at 5K Toys, and the Joker Felix, the Joaquin Phoenix Joker, is a little bit shorter than the Two-Face. So it's great that they showed this picture because it seems like the scale is a little bit more on par with your Mezco. So he's gonna look fantastic next to any Mezco Batmans.
I totally agree. And
man, I'm so pumped.
The head sculpt looks so good.
Yeah, and it looks like they got even better. It looks like they got better.
one of the best Heath Ledger head sculpts I've ever seen on a figure before.
It's really good. I'm hoping they come with a couple different expressions, because we want the laughing one, you know, and you want one with his makeup all messed up.
Yes.
You know.
Yes. Yeah. They haven't shown full solicitations, but I totally agree. Like, based on what we got with the Felix the Clown, which is the Joaquin Phoenix version of the Joker, they gave us, I think, 5 total head sculpts in that one. So I really hope they do about the same.
Oh, I think 5. Yeah,
I think it was 4 or 5.
Yeah, it's a lot. That's a lot of head. Right? That's a lot of head.
Hey, I will never.
No one's gonna turn that
with that. Yeah,
no one's gonna turn that down. But the soft goods on the Felix line, killer. Yes. Really above par. Like, really good. Articulation is decent, if not on. Like, it's like Joker body status. You're not gonna get nothing crazy, but the soft goods are on there. There were some like concerning items when it comes to the ankles, where he had that banana thing going on with his feet. Yep. But that was about it. I didn't have any issues with anything else. I really like the suit on him. Probably my second gripe would be just that he's like a couple centimeters too short. That's it. He was just like, you know, because Mexico's not true 112, and I feel like the Felix, at least their Joaquin Phoenix Joker, was maybe too true to 112, because 112 is pretty small. It's like SHF, you know. Yeah, but SHF, I'm glad that they showed this comparison picture next to Two-Face. You can see how big Heath Ledger is going to be. I'm so freaking pumped, and it looks like the feet. I don't know. He has like the knife coming out of one of the shoes, so he's going to come with some killer accessories. That Joaquin Phoenix came with like an Academy Award. He came with the mask, with some cigarettes. He came with a lot of really good accessories. So I am all over it. I'll probably get at least 2. Just
for sure.
You know, yeah.
I'm definitely getting 2. Just, you know, I'm gonna have to, because this is Heath Ledger Joker. I don't have any Heath Ledger Joker except for my NECA, which is great, but just kind of a limited figure overall. Yeah. And I think it's really smart that they did show it compared to Two-Face, because there is a lot of criticism about how short that clown was, and maybe some of their other figures. So it's like, okay, we listened to you. We're making this one a little bit taller. So to try to probably squash some of that hesitation.
Yeah. And their other on 5K Toys, their other release was the PC Toys 20 and 21 Expendables with the Stallone and Lundgren figures. They looked really cool. I was on the fence about these. I was about to pre-order them, but then the seamless body is what kind of turned me off, because some of the articulation looks a little funky when it comes to the feet and just the way their legs go. I don't know. I'm on the fence.
Yeah, that's fair, because seamless, you know, we've seen good and bad of seamless. Yeah, we don't know what the Mezco Keaton's going to come out as, but that's also a seamless body, and I think that gives a lot of people some hesitation, especially if it's third party, even though we're saying that, you know, 5K is pretty good. But if it's not something that you're 100% about, maybe just wait for a review and see what other people think. And then
because there's just some parts, like the hands look a little, or the arms look a little just weird. Like
they do.
I don't know if it's the flesh tone that does it. The body doesn't match with the head sculpt. You know, the body looks really pale, but this head sculpt they look really good. So I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah, that's true. I know what you mean, though. I'm seeing the same things that you're seeing.
Yeah,
I would definitely want to see them in hand and see what somebody can do with them, and then maybe that'll give me a bit more faith.
Yeah, and you know, the way they articulate their feet, it's just like they put their boots sideways, like they don't have no ankle pivot. So that's weird. Like,
that's a big downer.
I know wearing boots is very challenging, and you can't articulate your ankle, but laying your foot across, like, that takes away from the picture, and it just looks like their legs broken. Like they got broken ankles. So,
or, you know, trying to do a walking pose without being able to articulate the
the
ankles is going to be so hard. And then just not being able to pivot that foot at all. That's going to be tough.
That was kind of a deal breaker, is seeing the skin tone and then the ankle lack of articulation.
Yeah, that's true, though. I mean, those are valid concerns for sure.
And I was ready. I was like hovering over the click button, and I was like, let me see one more picture. No, I'm not going to do it.
Yeah,
I pulled out. The pull-out game was strong on that one. So you get 2 in this. You get 2 for 1 in this episode.
2 sexual references in this episode.
Oh! I never. Hey,
whoa.
HR.
Hold on a second. I didn't say that.
HR.
Moving on.
Okay.
So any more pre-orders?
No, I think we're done with pre-orders.
Okay.
Entrees are done.
Plastic confession time.
All right.
So I went first last week, so you go first this week.
All right. So this week, shout out to S Boogie. He was able to hook me up with his second set. He had an extra set of the Noda Figure limo driver, so it just came in. Super pumped with this.
Oh, man,
this box looks
mad at myself
killer.
for not pre-ordering that figure.
I was mad at myself, but then yeah. So this came in. My prize from Mezco was supposed to be delivered today. It's been delayed again, so it's like the second day. That would have been my other, which was the Gaslight Joker. But yeah, I'm super stoked. And I got the coat with it too, the coat accessory for the Logan. So yeah, I can't wait to open them up and start playing with them.
Was that like a early pre-order thing? How did you get that coat? Like if you would have pre-ordered normally?
Yeah, if you were to pre-order normal, it was you get the figure and then they had like an add-on and you can add on the coat to it.
Wow.
So
that's awesome.
It looks like it has a vest and a coat. So it's the shirtless jacket and then the coat goes over that. So yeah,
I'm jealous, man. That looks great. I've seen
It's my first Noda figure, so I've seen
a lot of
great reviews. Yeah, I saw Plasty's review, I saw Wade's review, and I saw his limo driver review, and I was like, damn, I need to get that. And yeah, I got lucky enough that S Boogie came through and he had an extra. So shout out to him.
Yeah, that's awesome. You have to let me know what you think because
for sure.
We'll have to not miss the next Noda pre-order that goes up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm getting more faith in third party, and now that I see stuff like that coming out, I'm like, okay, I need to stop being so hesitant because a lot of these figures that are coming out are pretty damn awesome. So I'd rather have it than miss out.
Yeah, just jump on in. Water's just fine.
Is that your only pickup this week?
Yes, that was my only one.
Cool. Yeah, so I think we talked about this last episode. Target recently had a really good sale. $25 off 100. I've been wanting this figure for a long time, but we just talked about it's a McFarlane. I'm not a big McFarlane collector, but I really wanted the figure, and I saw the entire wave. It's King Shark, so I got the King Shark Build-A-Figure, which I got to say this guy is like really hefty. He's bigger than I thought. I mean, compared to my head, look how big he is.
Pause. I just want I want to paint the picture for everyone listening and watching. I want to picture Nate coming out of the store with the whole King Shark Build-A-Figure wave when he's like, fucking Toddy Mac. And you got how many figures? How many figures are in the wave?
It's 4 figures in the wave.
4 boxes. You're coming out with 4 boxes of Toddy Mac figures. If I was to see you coming out of the store, I'm like, look at that Toddy Mac fan.
I know, look at that Toddy Mac fan.
That's the picture I wanted to paint.
I had a double bag. I was like running, like, don't look at me. I'm just running to my car. But no, I mean, actually, you know what? I'm really happy I got it because King Shark's awesome. He looks just like he did in the movie. He actually has some pretty decent articulation for being such a big figure. And like I said, he's like super hefty. He's a big chunk of plastic.
Does his mouth articulate?
Yeah, his mouth, his jaw opens.
Oh, that's cool.
His head moves up and down.
That's cool.
It can move side to side. It can turn. You know, he's got about that much range in his arms.
The fact that his mouth opens, like, I love that.
Yeah, it's pretty great.
Yeah.
The only thing is, which we talked about this before, but 5K Toys has some shorts because these shorts suck. You
can take them off?
You can cut them off. And when I was putting this together, you can see that there's articulation in there. His leg can actually come out. But because of the shorts, I can't do anything with it. And he's got bend in his knees here, but the shorts also restrict it.
Time to take off the shorts.
Yeah, I'm going to take off the shorts. There's a set. If you guys aren't aware, there's a set for King Shark. You can get 2 different styles of shorts. I think it's $22. I already pre-ordered it. Totally worth it because as soon as you get these shorts off, you'll have better articulation with King Shark. But very happy about it. And actually, I'm pretty happy. Oh, shit. Did you hear that? That was a huge. That was King Shark falling over. Just tipping. I'm actually pretty happy to have a Polka Dot Man. Because Polka Dot Man was one of my favorite characters from the movie.
Yeah, he was cool.
So he's pretty cool. I'm glad to have him. I really don't like the Harley though. I think the Harley looks pretty bad. Not the best sculpt, and she's pretty limited because of her dress. And then you got Peacemaker. The sculpt on that's okay. Yeah. And then Deadshot, which is pretty cool. He looks like a Deathstroke. Riding on the Toddy Mac train, because I'm in toy photography and there's just too many great things in this set. I got the Batcave.
Nice.
It comes with so much crap, dude. You got like a desk here. You got all kinds of different things to go into the Batcave. You got the Bat computer. You got like little, I don't know, pieces here of the cave. You know, it might be not the best quality, but for what it comes with at $30, I just couldn't say no.
Yeah.
So I picked it up. Pretty stoked to open this up. It actually just came today.
Is that the retro Batman 66 Batcave?
Yeah, it's the retro Batman 66 Batcave. I think it's actually still available on Target.com for anybody that wants to get it. I think it's worth it, man. You just get so much for $30. You know, stuff like this, it's hard to come by with Dios.
Does it look like it scales good with 112? Or is it a little on the small side?
It's probably a little on the smaller side because it's made for those.
Those those 66 are like 5 inches, aren't they?
Yeah, they're like 5 inches.
Okay.
So they're probably
but you can fudge it if you're
you can make it work.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna probably put it up next to a Mezco and see how it scales. I can send you a picture.
Okay.
I just couldn't say no. There's just too many great prop pieces, and I shoot Batman so much that I just had to have it. So yeah, I'll definitely be opening that pretty soon. All right, Nasty Nate's dirty trick for the week. So this one, I'm surprised I haven't talked about this before, but I want to talk about white balance really quick. Actually had a conversation with a friend recently that was struggling with colors in his photos. And he's like, man, I just don't know how to get this color right. It seems no matter what I do, it just won't change the color.
Yeah.
So I told him, I said, is your white balance on auto? For anybody not familiar with, you know, what white balance is, it's basically how warm or cool the overall colors in your photo look. So white balance controls that cool or warm tone. Mm-hmm. If you set your camera on auto, it's always trying to correct it back to neutral. Oh, shit. It's always trying to correct it back to neutral. Yeah. King Shark again. So if you're trying to maybe
create a
make it more warm. Say if you're doing an outdoor shot, you want it to look a little bit more yellow, like the sun is on. Yeah. You probably need to change your white balance because if you do it on auto, it's going to try to correct it back to neutral.
Okay.
So it's taking away some of that color. Yeah. Or if you want to make it more like a blue tone, maybe like a darker scene. A lot of the dark scenes that I do, I usually do it in like a bluer white balance. Mess with it that way.
So do you keep your white balance on manual, or you just turn off the auto feature?
So you can. I turn off the auto, and I usually will set it on a specific white balance. I'll mess with it sometimes. Okay. So it really it depends on your Kelvin. So there's a Kelvin temperature which controls color. The lower the Kelvin, the more yellow it's going to look. The higher the Kelvin, the more white or bluish it's going to look. Okay. So if you want to like something that's a little bit more neutral, I found that higher Kelvins are really good, around like 5,000 to 6,000. That's like a daylight bulb, and those are the ones I recommend shooting in the most because they really are good about being neutral on color change. So like for me, I really like to get colors in my photos. So if I want to enhance the photo with color, I'll probably put it on like a 5,000, 5,600, a higher white balance so that it's not really trying to saturate it with yellow. You know, and also making sure that you have the right lights, because if you're shooting with incandescent bulbs, no matter what you do, you're going to have yellow. Yeah. You got to shoot like an LED daylight bulb. Yeah. And then change the white.
And some lights you can adjust the Kelvin on the back, right? They'll tell you.
Yeah, Lume Cubes have that.
That's what
that's one thing I love about Lume Cubes. You can adjust the Kelvin temperature on those. Cool. So those are great that way. But yeah, definitely mess with that, guys. If you are having trouble with color, mess with your white balance. You'll be surprised what it does, because it really can change a photo.
That's awesome. Good tip.
Yeah, hopefully that helps you guys out. And last but certainly not least, because these are the Figure Aficionados.
Hey-o.
We have a new Figure Aficionado for the week. And it goes back to what we were talking about with Mezco 5 points, because this guy shoots specifically, almost specifically, I should say, not exclusively.
I'll be spreading rumors.
Yeah, I need to stop doing that. He doesn't shoot exclusively in 1/18 scale, but I will say the majority of his pictures are in 1/18 scale, and he shoots 1/18 better than anybody I've ever seen. His name is Action Figure Photos. Photo is spelled Photos. You probably are familiar with him. He's got a pretty big following, but I just want to recognize him because, speaking of 5 points, he's a guy that inspires me to try different 5 point stuff or 1/18 scale. I think you've worked with him in the past. Didn't you create like a arcade for him?
Yeah, I did a X-Men 4-player arcade for that. That was like so freaking challenging because
I'm sure
the scale. I had to go. Excuse me. I had to go get one of my old school G.I. Joes to use that scale for the arcade. So yeah, he does fantastic work. Like, yeah, I love his pictures. They're always so much fun.
Yeah, smaller does not always equal easier. It usually makes it more difficult, to be honest, because you're packing the same amount of detail in something that's way smaller.
A smaller space, you know?
Right, exactly. But man, he's like he puts custom head sculpts on Superpowers figures, which I've never seen before. His collection of just 1/18 scale figures is insane.
It's crazy. It's mind-blowing.
And he's always just posting fire. Like I don't find photos very often from him that I don't like. It's usually something that I'm very impressed with his work, and it just inspires me. So shout out to you, man. I'm a huge fan of your work. I know we've done collabs in the past, and I hope you tune in and maybe hear this. If you don't, that's cool too. I just want to give you some credit. Go find him on Instagram. Yeah, Action Figure Photos, FOTOS for photos. You will not be disappointed with his work.
Not at all. Awesome. What a great Figure Aficionado. And, hopefully we get to a bridge where we start making some Figure Aficionado shirts. I think that would be cool.
Oh, that's a great idea.
Yeah. As a reminder, if you haven't picked up your Figure Booth merch, check out our site. We have 2 shirts right now, created by individuals from the community with different logos. Thefigurebooth.com. You can check out your shirts. There's some Prime Arcade shirts down there too. Feel free to support, and that helps us keep this content coming to you guys, different ideas, and hopefully different shirts and styles that we can bring. So yeah.
If you guys haven't checked that out, check it out already. I know we've got some people that are listening that have already bought shirts, so big thanks to you guys. And as always, if you're not subscribed to the Figure Booth on YouTube, please go subscribe. If you're a supporter of the channel, even if you're not, like, maybe you're still an audio guy, you prefer an audio. We're still going to give you the audio content, but we like to expand our reach to YouTube. And if you subscribe and hit that notification bell, maybe you can join us sometime and be in one of our Monday Motivation Lives. Yeah. And also, please hit that thumbs up button. It does mean a lot to us. If you have a comment, please share it with us. We'd love to hear from you. But yeah, thanks to everybody for all your support so far. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, and it's awesome. Share your thoughts. I always get a kick of going back and seeing what everyone had to say about the previous episode, and a lot of times we can take that and include it in a future episode where we're going to acknowledge as much as we can to those that contribute in a positive way and add growth to the channel and the content that we're trying to provide. As far as substance, it's if you're adding to the dialogue and you had a really great piece and it develops into a segment or something, we definitely want to recognize that. So I appreciate everyone taking the time. Not only do you go and listen maybe to the audio, you check out the YouTube, but then you leave a comment and give us some feedback. Love it. We got some really good feedback on our most recent episode of the supports, and just talking about the support system, whether it's a significant other, fill in the blank. And it was great. We got some great reception. Everyone, I think, agreed that it's great to have a support system.
Yeah, absolutely. We definitely got some good feedback on that. So thanks to you guys.
Yeah. So that brings us to another end of another episode of the Figure Booth. I have been your host, Josh, aka Prime to the First. You can follow me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, all under Prime to the First.
And I've been Nate, aka FigureFan_Nate. You can find me on Instagram, TikTok, and occasionally on Facebook.
Occasionally, every once in a while.
Yeah, every once in a year.
Well, thanks again, guys. Whether you're watching us on YouTube or you're listening to us via a podcast of your preferred choosing, we appreciate you. Thank you for everything you have been listening to The Figure Booth. Peace.